I thought it'd be useful to just show the difference between a print run edition of a book versus a print on demand edition. Now, I guess one thing to make clear is, a print run, they're not all equal, so you can have a lot of different choices with print runs. So this is just based on a particular choice of paper thickness and weight that we chose for this particular print run. But nonetheless, I thought it'd be interesting just to show you. So what we've got here, first thing to show you, and the reason I've got one set of these books upside down, or back to front rather, is because I wanted to show you the difference in the width. So these are both the same number of pages for all three books, but you can see that the print-on-demand books are much thinner, and that's really based on the paper choice. So with print-on-demand, you don't really get a choice. You can choose cream or white. That's it. With a print run, you can choose, you still have cream or white, but you have different brands, you have different thicknesses, you have different weight of paper, and you can choose whichever one of those that you like. So if you were to choose a very thin paper, thin heavy paper, you might end up with a book which is reasonably thin and very heavy. Whereas if you've got a book that is, not so thick, but you want it to look a little bit more substantial, then you can have a slightly thicker paper weight, or thicker paper and bulkier, as they say, and it will make the book just a little bit bigger. But it'll be a nice light book and quite easy to carry around, which can be nice too. So these are the two editions. So as I say, one on the left and one on the right. You can also see, well, I don't hope you can see, there is a slight difference in the colour. So the cream paper on the right is slightly creamier than the cream paper on the left, even though they were both cream. Now there's a really big difference when you look at the covers. So the first thing that's really obvious is the colour. And we had essentially the same files sent to the print-on-demand printer and our print-on printer. And you can see they've come out really quite different colours. So one is a very bright red, the other one is a slightly purpler red. And I think, either one is fine. I don't have a particular preference of one over the other in terms of appearance. You may or may not. So the one on the left is print on demand, the one on the right is the print run. You can see those are quite different there. One thing I hope you can also see as we zoom in a little bit there, I don't know if you can quite make out, you probably can now, the background swirls on that cover. So it's essentially the same files that were sent to both. But if you go across to the print-on-demand edition, it's actually very, very difficult to see those. I can just about see them, but only because I know they're there. Whereas on the print-run edition, they're really quite clear that you can see those. And it's the same for the other books in the series. For Scarlet Oath, which is the second book, you can see them both. And they're both reasonably clear. I think the white background probably helps with that. Again, you see a slightly different colour in the covers. These are both kind of slightly off-white. One of them looks a bit greyer, one of them looks a bit creamier. Again, it may just come down to personal choice there. And then when we go into the last book in the series, Blood Destiny, it is really very difficult to see any background pattern on the print-on-demand version. It's just completely lost. You get much more detail in the print-run version. And so a lot of people will say, oh yes, but print-on-demand is getting good and it's just about as good as print runs. And in my opinion, it's just not. It's not there yet. It's a great option as a backup. If you run out of books and you still need to sell it, There are various different print-on-demand options which can help you to achieve that. But it's not a replacement for professional level print runs at the moment. Other thing I wanted to just mention is the feel of the paper. Again, it comes down to personal choice really. This is quite a the print-on-demand edition is very smooth paper. The print-on-demand edition, you can't really see it here, feels a bit more like what you might normally expect to feel in a paperback book that you buy from the shop, a novel. It's slightly rougher. It's slightly, well, obviously it's a bulkier paper, which is why it's thicker, but you do get that different feel to it, which I think it just fits a bit more tactile. I like it better, although it may just again come down to personal taste. The last thing I wanted to show you is if we stand them on end like that and we hover over the top and zoom in a bit, is the glue binding. So there's a special type of glue they use now which is excellent. They use it for print on demand and for print runs, which means papers shouldn't come loose even after a long period of time. Should be absolutely fine. Here they use the same glue, but you can see one of them is much neater finish than the other. So this is the print-on-demand version, and it's a little bit rough along the edge there, isn't it? I hope you can see that anyway. It's pretty rough along the edge. Whereas if you look at the print-run edition, it's beautiful and smooth right the way along. And there we have it. A quick review and comparison between print-on-demand and a print run. Now, if you hadn't seen the print run edition and you just saw the print-on-demand version, you'd probably say, oh, that looks nice. And most readers would be perfectly happy with that. Just when you compare it to the print run edition that you see the differences. So as I say, print-on-demand serves its purpose. It's excellent in some instances, even for traditionally published books, but it doesn't replace a print run. And if you're really looking for a particular level of quality in terms of your books, then I would suggest print-on-demand isn't there yet, and you need to go for a print run with a specialist printer. Anyway, that's all. I hope you find it helpful, and just drop me a line if you have any questions.